Desis marina can stay underwater for up to 19 days, and it makes its nest in the tide line. That home sits in the intertidal zone, the strip of coast the tide repeatedly covers and uncovers. Instead of treating flooding as a disaster, the spider lives in a shoreline habitat built around it. Because it can remain submerged for days, the nest stays useful through repeated tides. That turns a changing shoreline into long-term home, even when the sea keeps coming back. Pink Floyd escaped from the Sedgwick County Zoo in 2005, and people were still spotting it in Texas in 2023. The escape began inside an enclosure at the Sedgwick County Zoo, but the later reports came far away in Texas. No confirmed capture story follows it, so the mystery rests on repeated sightings, not a tracked route or verified relocation. Those reports stretched across years, turning one 2005 escape into a long-running trail of unconfirmed appearances. By 2023, Pink Floyd had become a name tied to distance, time, and the limits of what a sighting can prove. 3/4 of Turkey's bird species live in one delta, the Kızılırmak Delta. It sits where the Kızılırmak River reaches the Black Sea coast in Turkey. A delta is land built by river deposits, and it mixes water, mud, and shoreline. That mix creates many bird habitats close together. One edge offers open water, another offers feeding mud, and another offers cover in reeds. Because those habitats sit side by side, more bird species can use the same wetland landscape. The delta becomes a dense meeting point for feeding, resting, and moving through the region. That is why one wetland can hold 3/4 of a country's bird species. In the Kızılırmak Delta, a single landscape carries an outsized share of Turkey's bird diversity. The modern cinnamon fern has existed since the Cretaceous, so a woodland fern can carry ancient history in plain sight. It looks like an ordinary fern today, but the claim is about its living lineage, not a frozen plant. A lineage is a continuous family line across generations, and this one has persisted through deep geological time. That continuity means a plant we can touch now is connected to a world long before humans. So a common fern becomes a living link to the age of dinosaurs, still rooted in today's forests. Macodemahoitea is declining, and this ground beetle is known only from Banks Peninsula in New Zealand. Ground beetles live close to the soil, moving through leaf litter and under stones where moisture and shelter matter. Macodemahoitea is one of them. Because its known range is only one peninsula, any local loss affects the whole species. There is no wider mainland population mentioned as backup. That narrow range makes the decline more significant than a drop in a widespread species. A single place holds all the known individuals. When a species is tied to one peninsula, its future depends on what happens there. For Macodemahoitea, Banks Peninsula is the entire map. Cormosphalus rubriceps can grow to 20 centimeters long. That is about 8 inches in a centipede body. It is a giant centipede, and that length is large by familiar centipede standards. Most people picture something far smaller. The species name is Cormosphalus rubriceps. The measurement is the whole story here, 20 centimeters from end to end. At that size, it reads as oversized at a glance. An invertebrate that long can dominate the frame beside fallen leaves and bark. So the striking fact is simple. A centipede can reach 20 centimeters or about 8 inches. That is a big body for a creature built without a backbone. The Abyssinian hare is thought to be spreading beyond its native range. Overgrazing by domestic animals may be opening the way. The hare depends on a mix of cover and plants across the ground. When domestic animals feed heavily, that balance shifts. Heavy grazing removes taller plants and changes the vegetation animals rely on. That can leave open patches the hare can move through and use. As those openings spread, the hare can persist in places it may not have used before. The landscape itself becomes more permissive. A human land use change becomes an ecological opening. The result is a shifting range map traced by a small hare and the way the land is grazed. Solanum baretii is a plant named for Jeanne Baret, the woman who circumnavigated the world disguised as a man. Jeanne Baret lived in the age of long sea voyages, when botanical specimens moved between continents on sailing ships. The species name Solanum baretii is a scientific tribute, linking the plant to her name rather than to a place or a flower shape. That naming choice turns a living species into a marker of exploration history, preserved in the language of botany. Every time the name Solanum baretii appears in a field guide or collection, Jeanne Baret's voyage is remembered through a plant.